here for a spooky kind of evening, as you can tell. Hey, Jen, I'd love to be in the live stream, darling, but I won't be able to make it. I'll watch it on replay. Okay, that's perfectly fine. Today, I'm doing two things. It's kind of a two birds with one stone sort of a deal. The first thing that I'm doing is, I'm going to be training my tolerance up because I want to start doing competitive chili stuff again, but I don't necessarily want to define myself by doing competitive stuff, but I would like to do more. I want to be able to enter a contest if I want to. You know what I mean? I used to be able to do that. I've won contests before. My tolerance is, what do they call it? Famously low. So I'll start the stream out. Well, here, let me wet my whistle first. Oh, that's nice. It's just water. It's just water is all that is. And then we're gonna go ahead and this is some tincture that I made about last year, a couple years ago, something like that. It's very concentrated, and I can only really do like a couple of drops. I've only done 2 drops at a time for a while, so I guess I'll do 3 now, just to be able to train it up, right? All right. There's 3. Very hot. It's a little sweet at first, the tincture, because I did put a little bit of sugar in it, icing sugar, the kind, wow, the kind with glitter in it. That's a little hot. Okay, I'm fine. That is hot. Whew. My eyes are going to start watering pretty soon. Well, I'm glad that you guys are here. Again, this channel, I'm gonna keep doing the spicy thing, but I wanted this to be sort of a place where we can all hang out and talk about things that we're interested in, our own personal goals, and things to motivate each other and to keep each other, I don't know, moving in the right direction. They say that, what is it that Earl Nightingale said? He said, success is the worthwhile pursuit of it's the progressive realization of a worthwhile goal. Success is the progressive realization of a worthwhile goal. As long as you're making progress, you're a success. It doesn't matter if you get to the end of the finish line in your mind today, as long as you're making progress or learning from failures, you're moving in the right direction. Whew, and that is warm. Today, I wanted to talk, oh my God. I wanted to talk. I'm going to get better at this. That's hot. As some of you might know, I live in the Ozarks, one of the most mysterious and ancient pieces of the country. The ancient Mormons thought that this was paradise and that heaven was in the Missouri area. I tend to kind of agree with it. Whew. Oh, even though I'm not Mormon. Man, that's warm. It just keeps building. Oh. There's deep valleys and cave systems all over the Ozarks that weird, squirmy things can hide within the hills. One of them being the Ozarks Howler. Daniel Boone was the first person on recorded record to talk about the Ozarks Howler. He said there was a large bear-like creature in the Ozarks. Some people say that he even might have shot it, but I don't know of any proof of that, so much as just anecdotal stories. Oh, back in 2015 at the the Devil's Den State Park, a guy named John Meyer took alleged photos of the howler, but they've been considered to be a hoax when they got turned in. Later on, there was a family back in around 2005, 2010, north of Van Buren in the Boston Mountains, and down in Arkansas, in the Arkansas Ozarks. They thought that their trail cam spotted the Ozark howler, but it ended up being some kind of a cougar, according to experts. Now, those same wildlife experts do say that cougars don't exist in that part of the country. So it was either their explanation was that it was somebody's pet panther or cougar that had gotten out, and that was what was in the image. But I don't know of any people who have pet cougars. I know a few 20-year-olds who wanted that. All right, what do we got here? The Ozarks howler it's not only in Arkansas, it's in Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma, even down in Texas. So it's that little area right here in the very center, the south center of the country. Hey, Charlie, what's going on, man? I'm just talking about weird, spooky urban legends and eating some spicy stuff. Maybe a little too spicy, but that's okay because I'm building my tolerance. And you know what? Since I'm building my tolerance, let's do another one. Oh, that's another thing. This is a good opportunity for me to tell you that we do have a Discord server where I'm going to start going live and doing group video chats on the voice channel, probably in the hotline. Get it? Hotline, because it's spicy. But the Discord server is in the comments section here, or the description box. So if you want to join the Discord server and you're not there already, go down in the description box and click that link. And it'll take you there. And if you don't have a Discord link, it'll prompt you to set one up if you don't have a Discord account already. I'm going to drink some water. It's not going to help, but it's going to make me feel like it's helping. Oh, wow. That's something. Oh, man. Oh, that's a lot better. Helps for a split second. Yeah, for a split second. It's really my throat. I keep coughing. Ooh, that's good. Oh, man. Whew. All right. Hey, what kind of urban legends do you guys have around where you're from? Because like the Ozarks howler is from around where I'm from. A lot of people say it's like a panther or a mountain lion or something like that, like a cougar. But there's not a lot of... Some people even say that the Ozark howler is shaped like a bear. And it has horns that are prominent and a face like a dog. So that sounds like the devil to me. But maybe somebody did see the devil in the Ozarks. The devil went down to Missouri. He was looking for a soul to steal. He was looking at playing the fiddle and keeping it real. That's warm. That is very warm. Wow. Yeah, weirdly enough, there's been supposedly big cat sightings near you too. Really? Do you guys traditionally have a lot of big cats in the UK or not? I think that it's interesting that there are like bipedal hominids, like Lloyd Pye would always talk about. You know, maybe like some sort of a missing hominid species that walks on all 2 feet and goes through the woods in densely wooded areas and kind of connects through all of the state parks and things. You know, there's like Lloyd Pye kind of suggested that there's sort of like a network of Bigfoots and Yetis and stuff. No big cats are supposed to be in the UK. Okay, so you guys have big cats, but you're not supposed to have them. Who knows where those could have come from then? Is it like a hellhound? I know that in Northern Ireland they have this. I forget what it's called. It's got a name that's not in English. It's in Gaelic, I think. But it's like a hellhound, and it's instead of the Grim Reaper up there, they've got this sort of a dog-like hell creature. That's pretty rad. I think that's pretty awesome. And there are a lot of people worldwide probably know Route 66. You know, the phrase Route 66 is kind of like ingrained in culture with like cars and things like that. Route 66 began, the filing for the street was registered less than 2 miles away from where I'm standing right now. So in Missouri, in Springfield, in the Ozarks, that's where Route 66 had its beginnings. Now, this book is pretty cool. This is Missouri's Haunted Route 66, and while it does talk a lot about the rural haunted stories and things like that around the Ozarks, it doesn't really do justice to Springfield, and I'll show you why. And this is a problem for a lot of paranormal books and publications and TV shows and things like that. Is that there's not a whole lot of God, that's hot still. My nose is like running down the back. This is so good. So if we go to the Springfield, Missouri section, and it starts like there's St. Louis, there's all kinds of places. Now if we go to the Springfield, Missouri section, we're gonna go through the list of supposedly haunted places. The Galois Theater. Now that's a famous theater in downtown Springfield, Missouri. It's a business, okay? So it's not like an urban legend or anything like that. It's a business that says one of the projectionists had died, and then the owner, during a movie, the owner had stepped over the dying body of the projectionist to change the film reel, and his discombobulated spirit still roams the hallways. There's also a story about a 10-year-old who walked through a wall, but that's kind of weird. The Galois Theater, it would be cool to go see it if it was like open to the public, but it's a theater, so you have to pay to get in and all that stuff. Landers Theater, same thing. It's a theater. I want to see like I want to see something more rural. You know what I mean? Walnut Street Inn. Oh yeah, yet another local business that claims to be haunted. The Pythian Castle, yet another local business. Maple Park Cemetery, now we're talking. I'm going to take a look at this Maple Park Cemetery story here on page 102. I don't like a lot of the stuff that's about local businesses, to be honest. Like, I love local businesses, I support local business, but not in the paranormal. I don't think that every single theater is haunted. You know what I mean? Like, they could be, but if every single theater is haunted, you might as well not even publish them. You just go to a theater and be like, hey, there's ghosts here, right? And here's a story about the Maple Park Cemetery. I'm Mike Tyson, apparently. The final resting place of David Tutt is a beautiful, pleasant spot. It opened up in 1876 and contains a gazebo, widening paths, and grand maples. The gazebo's been restored and the entire place carries a Victorian air. I've heard from a few people that they've seen shadow figures inside the cemetery at night as they drive past. A little girl plays in the cemetery. She appears to be aware of her surroundings and the people around her. Figures are seen near a mausoleum. The ghostly people vanish when approached. Music is heard at the gazebo and orbs hover inside the graveyard at night. That's kind of creepy. Maybe I'll try to go and see if I can see some of these spooky things. All right, Charlie says, there's supposed to be the grave of a witch in my city too. There's a witch grave here near Springfield, Missouri, actually more near Joplin, Missouri, a few miles down the highway. But there's a local story of a girl back in the 1800s or the early 1900s in Joplin her family was, they were called townies. They were the people who were the old inhabitants of the town before the new money came in from the mines, because there was a lucrative mining industry in Joplin. So what had happened is they had brought in new workers, new money, and a lot of new upper middle class and rich people to a previously lower class working town. And what that caused was a lot of conflict between the townies, which were the people who lived there before, and the people who came to live there later. Now, this story comes in a weird spot, because there was a girl, she was about 12 or 13 years old, and I forget her name, but I'm going to have to look it up. But she was bullied by a lot of these rich girls, and she was a townie. She was made fun of for being a townie, and so she decided to get her revenge on them by getting them to stop calling her all these horrible names. And so she told them that she was a witch and that she was going to place a curse on them and their families. And so the girls got together and murdered this girl. They killed her, and her body is buried in a cemetery right outside of Joplin. I visited it before. I might have posted a video, but I don't think on this channel. But it's called the Witch Grave because of that. And it's a spooky thing. You know, it's always weird whenever people take the law into their own hands, and then certain maybe restless spirits are wandering around. Now there's a school, there's a college here. It was the first school for teachers this side of the Mississippi River. It's called Missouri State University. It used to be called Southwest Missouri State University. Missouri State University was founded in 1905. It was known as the 4th District Normal School. The first class in June 11th of 1906 held off campus consisted of only 543 students. Academic Hall was the first building on campus, and its cornerstone was laid on August 10th, 1907. And the building is now named after William T. Carrington. They call it Carrington Hall, the first school president. There's many haunted sites on campus. Tammy Preston and Charlene Wells both attended the university and have several stories, some odd, some chilling, and one that must be included simply for the humorous quality of the tale. There are reports you won't find searching the web, but the students are well aware of the legends at MSU. As the story goes, a young woman was studying for her finals late one night. She started to feel odd, and the hairs on the back of her neck started to stand up. She saw a young man coming toward her. He was wet. She blinked. This couldn't be right. She looked again, and the man was gone. She continued to study, or she tried to study, but she felt like she was being watched. She couldn't focus and decided to leave. While walking toward the elevator, she saw wet footprints on the floor next to the elevator. According to Tammy, the creepy feeling got even stronger. And she avoided taking the elevator and becoming stuck inside with a stalker. Running down the stairs, she failed to see the wet footprints in the stairwell. She ran out of the building and toward the fountain. Near the fountain, hands shoved her. She lurched forward and hit the side of the fountain with her head. When she awoke several minutes later, another student was performing mouth-to-mouth on her. The student had witnessed her fall and rushed to help before she could drown. After the woman sat up, 2 handprints were on the back of her shirt when she had been shoved. No one was spotted near her. After the incident circulated the school grounds, an older teacher related this information. A student was studying late in the Dwayne Meyer Library for finals. The student worked in the library and afterward began his study once the books were placed back on shelves. He was nearly failing algebra and geometry, and his test was the next morning. He stayed up far into the night until his vision began to fail. Deciding to get some sleep, he left the library, staggering toward his dorm. He slipped on a wet brick by the fountain. He fell, hitting his head on the side of the fountain, and slid into the water unconscious. He didn't wake up, and no one saw him. The boy drowned. So basically, this fountain outside of the library and at MSU is haunted, and people hit their head and drown in it fairly regularly. So, you know, maybe I'll go down and I'll take some footage, and we can eat a hot pepper or do some hot tincture near this haunted fountain. Maybe we can do that. That would be cool. Maybe I'll write that down so we can do that later. All right, what do we got? There are a lot of stories about MSU in here. I think that's pretty cool. Wow, arenas, the pools, the Kentwood Arms. There's killer squirrels. This is wild. There's got to be tons of haunted places and stories with how old everything is there. Yeah, you guys have Stonehenge. You've got all kinds of ancient histories and lore, and I'm sure that there's like hidden history and, you know, even tunnels. Yeah, there's tunnels. All right, what else do we got? There's all kinds of cool stuff here. The Springfield National Cemetery is a pretty big cemetery. This person accounts, my dad is buried at the Springfield National Cemetery. He shares the 18 acres with soldiers from North and South from the Civil War and other veterans. The cemetery was established in 1876 and is on the National Register of Historic Places. Orbs are reported at twilight. Residual spirits of soldiers from the Civil War era are seen, along with the World War II Navy men. Pat Brown Bailey treated herself to a cross-country trip down Route 66 for her birthday. She stopped in Springfield. At the National Cemetery, she took a few photos. Here's one with an anomaly and her comments. No anomalies showed up until I spoke a few harsh words to the Yankees. Check out the side of the photo. And I don't know if you guys can see this. But apparently there's some kind of like Civil War guys in this photo. I don't know if I see them. Oh, it does kind of look like, it's hard to see over the camera, but it does kind of look like maybe there's some kind of like a orb sort of a creature right over here. That's wild. Yeah, one thing around my local area is that we're known for a battle called the Battle of Wilson's Creek. And Wilson's Creek is just up the road from Springfield and just on the other side of town. And there was a big farm there. And there was a huge Civil War battle. And you can still go out there with a metal detector and find different Civil War artifacts, cannonballs, bullets, things like that. This is an account of some spooky things that happened. Oh, you know what? I think it's about time for something spicy. So we're going to go, I noticed that my mouth is not burning right now. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a couple more drops. Woo. Now, whenever I was in, I think the 5th or the 6th grade, I think it was the 6th or 7th maybe, we went to Wilson's Creek Battlefield for a field trip. And we hung out inside the house where they were amputating legs in the Civil War, where hundreds of men lost their life and had bullets extracted. Got bandaged up and just went back to fighting. That's hot. Not that. The spice. It's spicy in my mouth. Ooh. Ugh. That feels good. Oh no, it's hot now. Oh, it's only not hot for a couple moments. Thanks for hitting that like button. You know, I'm going to start doing streams like this a lot more, where we're basically just hanging out. Maybe I'll read some creepy things out of some books. I've got a lot of creepy books. We could also, maybe I'll print out some stuff about some weird things that I'm interested in. One of my favorite things to look into is the CIA's reading room on the CIA.gov website, or yeah, .gov. And there's a lot of weird stuff that people have gotten information on for the Freedom of Information Act. They put it all into one space so you can go search for it. It's pretty cool. There's Project Aquila, there's UFO disclosure, there's the Gateway process. The CIA is definitely messed up. There's all kinds of weird projects and black projects and things like that. But you can get information about it just by going to the website. I'm probably being tracked or something from going on there so much. I do like to go and check out the spooky stuff on the CIA website. That is hot. I've been doing a lot, you know, and I'm not gonna do a jiff. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna drink the whole tube or anything like that. But it is spicy. I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna keep and build my tolerance. And so by this time, you know, by the springtime, I'll be ready to enter in some kind of a contest. I want to go to somewhere and do a contest. I'm gonna have to get my teeth fixed in the back though. I can't really chew very well. That's why I'm doing tincture and hot sauce. America. All right, Wilson's Creek National Battlefield. This is an account from this book, Missouri's Haunted Route 66. In Southern history, the event is called the Battle of Oak Hills. Fought at Wilson's Creek, 10 miles south of Springfield, the battle was a victory for the Confederacy. It was one of the bloodiest battles in the history of the Civil War, with approximately 1,317 people killed. But oh my gosh, 1,317 people killed by the North and 1,222 killed by the South. No one knows the number who died from injuries and wounds from the battle. History records the Battle of Wilson's Creek as the first major battle west of the Mississippi. General Nathaniel Lyon was killed in the battle. A marker has been erected on the spot where it's believed he fell from his horse. A part of the National Park Service, the battle site is kept in excellent shape. New relics are being dug from the soil. Residual haunting is said to occur all throughout the park and in the surrounding area. Cannons and gunshots are heard. The ghosts of Confederate soldiers are seen. And cold spots and soldiers walking and talking in the woods at night are experienced. The nearby town of Republic has a neighborhood where soldiers are reported hiding behind homes. Some of the homeowners experience ghosts and shadow figures. They feel watched, and pets are afraid to enter certain rooms in the house. A burning odor is noticed, and children are touched while sleeping, and voices are heard in an unoccupied room by baby monitors. Yeah, I guess everybody's calling it doing a GIF. Jeff is the only person that I've, well, not the only person, but he's the one who does it repeatedly. This guy is wild. I've seen him do an entire bottle of Da Bomb. That's the worst tasting hot sauce in the planet world. The planet of the world. Yeah, I'm not going to do a GIF. I'm not even going to do a Robbie. I'm going to do a Donnie, which is 2 or 3 drops on my tongue repeatedly. Seems reasonable. I like that. Man, there are all kinds of stuff in the Ozarks. I'm not going to read all of them today, but I will, do some more streams, and maybe we can go to, like I said, maybe I'll write down all the stuff that I talked about today, and then I can go do some videos at some of these places. I'll take some tincture. We'll do some hot peppers in haunted places. That's one of my favorite little series that I did on this channel. And it's one of the ones, my hair is so, like, it has no volume. I need to put some hairspray in it. No, it just falls down. Whatever. I'll do it sometimes, but Jiff is the first guy I saw do it. Yeah, it's too much. It's too much for me. It would hurt me. It gives me cap cramps. I don't like cap cramps. I've got some digestive problems anyway, so like exacerbating the pain that I feel inside of my guts is probably not the best thing for me to do, but I do like eating hot stuff. I like putting it in my mouth, and that's always good. That's always nice. All right, this is another book that I have. This is kind of a similar book. This is the world's creepiest places. This is another thing that I might do some readings from. The world's creepiest places. This is my favorite kind of stuff, by the way. I don't know if you guys saw it. I'm a pretty big fan of Johnny Scoville. He's a good dude. He's been there, throughout the history of my channel. He's always, checked in, been a really cool guy. Tommy, of course. Tommy's brought a lot of people to my channel. Thank you very, very much. One of my best friends in the entire world. He knows more about me than definitely anyone in the entire Chile community. Tommy knows. So he's a good dude. But Johnny was doing some not live videos. He was doing some pre-recorded videos earlier today about like, hey, you want to be a YouTuber, huh? And he didn't tell me anything I didn't already know, but he did reiterate some things that I think I kind of might have taken for granted. Which is like the importance of consistency and just doing it, but more importantly, being passionate about whatever you do. And that's why whenever I did this stream, I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make it a little cool. I'm going to toss on some spooky makeup. I'm going to put my light on, and I'm going to grab some of my favorite books and talk about the stuff that just interests me. You know what I mean? And yeah, this is a chili channel, and I do want to get my tolerance up, so I have been doing that. But why can't we do both? You know what I mean? Jennifer, hey, darling. I'm glad that you made it. I'm really thankful for that. I've never spoken to them. They probably don't know who I am. Charlie, I talk about you quite a bit. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't know who you are, or I would be surprised if they don't know who you are, because you're a cool dude, man, and you're like what, number 9 or number 8 in the world as far as like the League of Fire rankings go. I guarantee you, Johnny's seen your name. Ooh. Whew. Ooh. So Jennifer, tell us about your channel. I know that you had said that you were going to start a channel at the beginning of this coming year. So, tell us a little bit about that, what you have going on. I know you briefly mentioned it to me a little bit, and I'm interested. Whew, that kicks in. Man, there's some sugar in that, and the sugar kind of delays the heat, but then all you taste is just like from the garden hot pepper flavor. It tastes like a fresh habanero, honestly. It's got that Chinese flavor, and then it just fills up your mouth with heat. And then it keeps going to the back of my throat and kind of choking me out. Ooh, it's a good burn. But you know what? It's cool. It's getting easier and easier every time I do it. I think my problem has been I only do it in one session. But lately I've been doing more drops repeatedly. I think that's the key to get my tolerance up. Ooh. Jennifer, I don't know much about you, but I'm glad that you're here. Tank is definitely tough, but I love it. I love it because it doesn't hit my guts as much as the other things do. Oh, yes. Okay, here we go. It's going to be a channel for color therapy. We're going to learn what colors do to neurologically and how to use them. Give me 1 second. I'm going to be right back. If I can do this, if I can find them. Oh man. Okay. We'll see how this goes. Oh, come on. Where is it? I know it's in here somewhere. Come on. Okay. All right, so here's the deal. I have a whole bunch of glasses that have colors and stuff on them. They are literally buried in the very back bottom of my closet. I'm going to get them tonight, though. I can't get them right now at the very moment. But I do love purple. Purple is my, magenta is probably my favorite color of glasses to wear. Makes the oranges and the blues and the sunlight look beautiful. I have a business that makes colorable, stickable fabric decals. It's called Color Time Decals. I'll be coloring my decals while I do my live streams. You can download design for free or buy. Okay, and Charlie says, Tank hits my guts the worst. Charlie, you drink bottles of it at a time. That's what I'm talking about. You can't do a Robbie dropper. You gotta just like coat your tongue. I mean, I'm telling Charlie how to freaking do it. That's freaking dumb. I'm sorry, Charlie. What the heck? I've been doing better at not saying curse words. That's pretty good. I don't know where I just put my tincture, though. That's fun. Hey, look at this thing. Have you guys ever seen one of these before? This is wild. I was like, what in the world is this? It looks like maybe some kind of a tennis ball or something. I was like, what? Yeah, the Robbie. Robbie's pretty wild. I used to be friends with the actual Robbie from Robbie Dropper, like the Robbie Dropper Robbie on Facebook. All right, so you wind it up. It's a gyroscope, and you can kind of feel the gyroscopic force inside of it pick up, and so you start winding it. Yeah, dude, and it's like this one lights up. It's pretty rad. I like it. And like, it's really good for your forearms. I'm going to start working out and stuff, so I got to get my arms looking good. So I got this thing to kind of give me a little bit of a, it does make your arm tired. That's the point, ain't it? And this is my left arm. It's harder to do it with your left. I call this one the stranger. Oh, man. But that's pretty fun. This thing is awesome. I have two of them. I got another one, but it's in storage. I don't know where it is. But two of the same one. Just kind of... It is shake weight. Dude, Dude, whoever created the shake weight, they knew what they were doing. You know what I mean? There's no way that you can invent the shake weight and not realize what that motion looks like. You know what I mean? But look at all the colors, Duke. The colors. I love that. So, yeah, earlier we were talking about some different local urban legends and folklore from the Ozarks. I was talking about the Missouri Monster and the Ozark Howler. Actually, I didn't really talk about the Momo too much yet, but the Momo is it's like a Bigfoot. Basically, it's the Bigfoot. And in 1971 and 1972, there were a bunch of just sightings of a big like Sam Squanch type creature. Let me see here. Where was this? This was in Louisiana, Missouri. Several people sighted a creature that looked like a Bigfoot. Do you guys have your own local Bigfoot lore? Like I know most major cities like that have rural communities usually have some spooky stuff associated with them. I know whenever I lived in Ohio, there were all kinds of crazy things. They said that there were like giants hiding in the mountains and Hellier, the show Hellier. I got into that pretty good. That was a good show. Dana and her husband Greg. Dana and Greg Newkirk. Yeah, they're from Cincinnati. And I tried to give them a haunted painting, but I don't think they wanted it. I sent Greg an email, and he just didn't ever respond to it. I had a haunted painting, though, and I just ended up giving it away because it's freaking haunted, you know? That's why they had hot chicks with big boobs doing the infomercial in the shake weight. That's right. Oh, my God. I can't argue with that. That is why they had it. That's great. I like the way, you know what I remember? I miss those Tony Little infomercials where he's on the gazelle and he's like, yeah, yeah, baby, it's the gazelle. Freaking love that. Tony Little. And then what was it? What was the home gym, the total gym? That was Chuck Norris. In the eyes of a ranger, the unsuspecting stranger had better do your reps from wrong to right or something like that. I don't know. I need to start doing push-ups. Do you guys have a push-ups routine? I was actually I was talking to ChatGPT and I was asking, I was like, because I don't have any exercise equipment or like access to a gym really, none of my own. But I got a room with a floor in it and I thought, I bet if I talk to ChatGPT about exercise routines that people who are in prison do, like body weight exercises, plyometrics, different things like that, I bet I could get in pretty good shape just sitting here and hanging out in my room. And if I do that, then I could even stream it and we could hang out while you guys get to see me like kind of, well, first off, I'll look foolish, but I will get stronger and that'll be fun and maybe we could all do it together. I keep intended to do push-ups or just body weight exercises, but I never stick to it. Me too. And I think that maybe if I would just like do it while on stream and, well, it would be twofold actually. The first thing is that it would hold me accountable. And second thing, it would give me something to stream about. Because, you know, I can't talk about the same things all the time. That'll get boring. Damn, that's a great idea, darling. Thank you so much, Jen. Man, oh, it's a good day. You know, it's been a really good day. This time of year is always, like, really bad for me because, well, first off, my birthday is on Saturday, this Saturday. And everybody who I try to invite to come out and you see me on my birthday is doing family stuff that night. So nobody's gonna come see me. That sounds pathetic, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna be working that night and I'll be hosting karaoke. So man, I got some dandruff in my hair, look at that. I'll be working, doing karaoke. People might come out and see me. I hope that they do. It would be nice to see some of my friends, but it's okay. This time of year is really hard for me because I have a lot of problems with like feeling lonely and stuff, and I always like my brain is a scumbag and it has this thing inside of it that just says like nobody remembers you, everybody forgot who you are. Like even like during the week, like my friends, if I don't hear from somebody, if I text them and I don't see like a reply, even though I'm guilty of not replying all the time, I'll just be like, oh no, like I'm out of sight, out of mind. Nobody cares. They don't remember me. And it's panic. It's some kind of like a separation anxiety sort of a thing. I think it's probably not healthy. And so I've been trying to talk about it more objectively so I don't feel it and everything. Wilbur, bro, what's going on? Wait, oh yeah, your birthday's Saturday. We got the same birthday. That is awesome. Yeah, it sucks, and I'm so sorry. And yeah, Wilbur, it sucks, man, because you're a good dude. Everybody loves you. You know what I mean? Like, and everybody tells me, Donnie, we love you. Everybody loves you. You know, you don't have any reason for you to feel like people don't like you. And I'm like, that's not how mental health works. You don't need reasons. You know, like knowledge and belief are two different things. Like I can know certain things. I know that I'm slightly attractive and intelligent and talented and like blah 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 blah. You know, like all these things that people have told me independently of my own self. I know those, but the belief in it, I don't know if I believe any of those things by myself. Like I know them, but I don't believe them. And so maybe by being more consistent in the way that I behave and like being more consistent in the things that I want out of life, what I'm willing to give for them, and just the direction that I want to go. If I'm more open to be open about that, maybe things will work out better. It's worth a shot. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm bothering people and I don't want to annoy them. Charlie, you will never bother me. Here's the thing. You can message me anytime. I will always reply to you. You know that. I'm really bad about replying to messages. I'm not gonna lie about that. But I've got like 5 or so people. Tommy talks about having a 5. You're on my 5, dude. You're my 5. That's good. You know, the chili community is really weird because like, there's a lot of people out there who don't like me, and it's not that they have a reason. They just you know what? Maybe they do like me. I don't know. I just assume that they don't because of all the stuff that happened a few years ago with Sons of Fire. I just assumed because I wasn't part of that group that I wasn't a cool kid anymore and that everybody just conspired to like excommunicate me. And I kind of, in a way, excommunicated myself. That's probably not a good thing. I mean, I love spicy food. I've been doing spicy food. I was looking the other day, yesterday, and because Johnny had posted something, he said that he had been doing his channel for 8 years. And I was like, you know, I haven't been doing this channel for 8 years, but I've definitely been doing hot stuff for around the same time. So I went and looked at my old channel, and I found a video where it's called Funky Monkey. It's the Scoville Report, believe it or not. 8 years ago, my first official hot sauce review video was 8 years ago. It was called the Scoville Report, and it was about Funky Monkey hot sauce. Back then, I was working at a store called the Beef Jerky Outlet, and they hired me because I knew a lot about hot sauce. I walked in there and I just started talking about every single flavor profile of every sauce on the wall. I started talking about, like, the owner had a lot of the Blair's, like the holiday skulls and different things like that, the Blair's Reserve skulls. And so I was like, oh my God, you have the like the 2002 skull and so immediately he was just like, this guy knows hot sauce. And I loved that. I loved working at that hot sauce store. But yeah, I started doing my very first review, my very first hot sauce review. That's what it's called. 8 years ago, when I was working at that store, it's called the Funky Monkey Hot Sauce. Now, I don't really tell a lot of people about that review because I was also running a local music podcast at the same time, and the song that I played at the beginning of that has a bad word in it, a really bad word, the F word, in fact. So I'm like, I can't tell everybody about that video because they'll hear that and they'll hate me. Again, I'm like, I can't be proud of the first video I ever made because I'm scared people will hate me. Man, I got to get over that, don't I? I really do. You've never been a part of the Sons of Fire. I was one of the very first members. I was probably one of the first, like, 13 members or so. I was one of the very first people. Farmer Jay invited me in, and they didn't make me pay. They were just like, hey, dude, you know. And at the time, I was growing a pretty big community. The pod people, we were doing weekly video chats, and we would do streams, and we did challenges together, and it was a lot of fun. But they let me in the Sons of Fire, and then asked me to do, some cool stuff, like help them with some online conventions and different things that was going on. But some stuff happened behind the scenes that was just, it didn't really work out with me, and then just the way it was handled, I just didn't care for. And so it was weird because a lot of people who I originally was like really good friends with just stopped talking to me, and I was like, this is all over like me not getting along with somebody else for something that was like legitimate, like, and it put a really bad taste in my mouth, and it made me think that the whole community was like more cliquish than it really was. And nowadays I'm starting to see that, like, I don't think I don't think it's as rampant of a thing as it used to be. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that the negativity in the community is as bad as it seems. It's just that there are a few very loud negative people, and I feel like I was just for like a while. I was just shouting out against these like people. I don't know. I just morally didn't mesh with them. I guess that's we're not allowed. We're not obligated to get along with everybody. But we should all treat each other with dignity and respect. And I want to start doing that more often. I don't want to have conflicts anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, that we're supposed to be eating hot food and like raising money for charities and stuff together. That's what I want to get back into. I want to get into hot food, raising charity money, and just treating people with dignity, respect, and like maybe helping people with like mental health issues. You know, we're all lonely. We're all lonely people. We all have low self-esteem, and like it's weird because like you're all very cool people, and like I know Charlie, like you're amazing. Like you're attractive, talented, smart. You are like one of the like the hugest tolerance of hot stuff in the entire world, literally the world. And you know, there's no reason you should be down on yourself, but I do understand that there are scumbag parts of our brains that tell us that we aren't who we are. And like me, I deal with imposter syndrome a lot. Like I can do a lot of cool stuff. And I assume that I can't. I assume that I'm just tricking everybody into thinking that I can. I assume that I'm tricking people into thinking I sing well. I assume that I'm tricking people into thinking I play the piano or the guitar or whatever well. And like yesterday, I went to a karaoke with a friend last night, and it was just kind of like a off the wall thing. We went and I sang the A Team by Ed Sheeran, and people were like giving me high fives. They're like, "Oh my God, you sound just like Ed Sheeran," and I'm just like, "Thank you. I appreciate that." Like, it feels good for me to be able to say thank you instead of being like, "No, no, no, I don't," because that's what I used to do for years and years. I would just be like, "No, no, 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 don't say that," and then I'd get embarrassed and walk off. Oh, the whole lifetime of being put down kind of taught me I'm an imposter. Charlie, you know what? My dad put me down my entire life. He called me things I can't say on this channel because I might get deplatformed. Like that bad. The whole time I was growing up. And I've got his name. And he treated me like crap my entire life. He treated all of us like that. I have two siblings as well. And they weren't so lucky as me as far as everything goes. I love my sister so much, and I love my brother, but they've had a very hard life. We've all three had a very hard life because of the way that my dad was and the way that he treated us, because he didn't like himself. Like anytime that we would ever need anything as children, he would just get so mad, you know, and he was very inappropriate, very horrible. And my brother in jail, my brother's in prison. He'll be in prison for a long time. I talked to him for the first time in a while, about a year and a half ago, because we hadn't talked in a few years. And I talked to him at my mom's house on the phone, and he's just like talking, and he's like, "Hey man," he's like, you know, "I went through a program here, and I learned that that voice inside of my head that was telling me that I'm stupid and that I'm not good enough and that I'll never be anything." He said, "That voice isn't my voice. That voice is Dad's voice." And dude, I lost it. I started bawling because I couldn't even talk anymore on the phone. I was like, gasping for breath, and I hadn't cried like that in years and years. I needed that. Like, just to hear him say like that he figured out that all the stuff that put him in jail wasn't his fault. It was the voice inside of his head that was our dad. And so I understand exactly what you mean whenever you say that, you know, being told that you're nothing your entire life, being put down, being every accomplishment that you feel proud of, crushed. You know, my dad, literally, I was in a band when I was 14 years old. I always loved music. It was my escape from my childhood. Me and my cousin John were in a band called ASAP, A Simple Authority Problem. It was a cool little punk band. We were at a battle of the bands one time, and the only time my dad ever came out to see me, and we're playing, and the first song, midway through the song, my dad gets up and walks out. And it's the middle of the first song, and I'm sitting there, and I see it, and I just have to fake it through the whole set. And we won first place in the talent show that year. Like, and it was a battle of the bands, like, citywide. It was, like, adult men and everything, and we were young kids. I think the oldest one in the band was, like, 16. It was my cousin. He was 16. I was, like, 14 or 15. And so, you know, I was never to be allowed to be proud of any of my accomplishments. I was never allowed to be proud of who I am or be unique in any way that I was. And that's why it's really important for me to help other people not feel that way. You know, my whole life I've been kind of helping the local music scene because it was my outlet. It was the only thing that I had whenever I was a kid. And it really did help me not end up in jail. I think that if I didn't become a musician, I would have ended up in jail. 150,000%. I had an outlet that I enjoyed that I was able to focus on. And it should be everyone like I would be considered conservative, but I used to date dudes that look just like you, Chili. And doesn't anyone else think a liberal shouldn't be? Oh, no, I'm a conservative person. I am, like, as far as policies and everything go, I'm very conservative. I'm just socially liberal. That's the thing. I'm like, I think everybody should just leave everybody else alone. I think we should be able to dress how we want to dress. I think that our looks don't dictate who we are as people. I don't think that anything like that. I think that the way that we treat each other is the only thing that matters. That's it. That's how I judge people's character, and that's how I think that I hope people judge me. I wear dresses a lot of the time. I'm eccentric. I don't think of it as like a sexual thing or anything like that. That's not what I'm about. I think I look cool. You know what I mean? I look like a rock and roller, and I was never able to be that as a young person. And now when I'm old enough to do that, I'm almost 37. I'll be 37 years old on Saturday. That's weird to me. I still feel like I'm 19. I feel like I just graduated high school. I feel like I just got out and now I'm in college and I'm like living in my old apartment. And like, I don't feel like intellectually I've changed all that much except for like growth. I mean, I've grown as a person, but like, I don't feel like I'm older. You know what I mean? I don't feel like I would have assumed an almost 40-year-old would feel whenever I was younger. You know what I mean? I feel the same. Yeah, you feel like you're 18 too. And you know what's weird? We both kind of look younger. This is, every year, this line right here gets a little deeper. That's the only thing. Dang it. I want everyone from every walk of life to connect together with me on my channel and other channels like yours, Tommy's, and Johnny's channel. That's how it should be. Yeah, because we're all a community, you know, and I don't mind talking about my stuff. You know what I mean? Like, whenever you've been humiliated in front of people you care about your whole life, like, man, there's a lot of stuff that I'll be comfortable talking about in the Discord, but like I cannot talk about some things on YouTube because my life was really hard. It was a lot, there's a lot of stuff that a child should not have gone through, and I've made it out the other side a lot better than I think that, you know, like, invisible illnesses suck so bad because people will look at me and they'll think, oh, this guy's normal, and they're like, well, normal, this guy has nothing wrong with him or whatever. But man, it's a struggle a lot of the time to be alive, not to be alive. Okay, well, that's true, it is a struggle to be alive, but I'm not the big S word or anything like that. Life is hard, and my brain works against me a whole lot. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of you guys could probably relate to that. Sometimes it's a struggle to get out of bed. You know, I made a video, I think yesterday, where I was in the bathroom and I was like, all right, guys, it's time to take a shower. Like, it's really hard to get out of bed and take a shower, but it's time to do that today. And you know what's funny? I think that wearing makeup every day helps force me to take a shower every day. And I know it's ridiculous for a grown man to be like, oh, I have trouble taking a shower. I'm not ashamed, okay? Mental health is not anything to be ashamed of. I think not talking about it is worse than talking about it. You know what I mean? Because at least if I'm talking about it, I could talk about it objectively. I can change it, you know, and I could give myself the same compassion and advice that I could give somebody else. And communicating's good, you know. What is this? September 13th, 1987. I think I'm 36. Dude, heck yeah. I was December 23rd, 1986. I'm 31. No one believes me. Never thought you were 37 either. Yeah, Charlie, you look like you're about 22. I'm not going to lie. You look about 22. I feel like I still feel like I never moved on past 18 years old in some ways. I got married and pregnant at 18 and my life is my kids, so I don't know who I am fully yet. And I'm 36. Yeah, that reminds me of my mom a whole lot. My mom got married. My mom got pregnant when she was 18. She went into labor on her... No, not on her birthday. She turned 19, and the very next day, she went into labor with me. And she was still in high school. And so my mom had me as a high school student, 19 years old, just turned 19. Didn't know how to have kids, didn't know how to take care of anybody, barely knew who she was as a person. And honestly, her and my dad were horrible for each other. He was, he was very abused by his family. And so he didn't know how to properly be a partner or a father or anything like that. He just kind of took everything out that he didn't want to confront. He took it out on everybody around him. He wasn't an alcoholic. He wasn't a drug user. But he was a horrible narcissist. And he made sure that we were all miserable. And anybody who had anything or was able to be proud of themselves, he just sometimes literally beat it out of us. Yeah, a lot of stuff you don't want to share publicly. Yeah, and you shouldn't you don't have to share it publicly, but like, if, I'm always here to talk if you need to talk. Mentally, I'm still 16, Wilbur says. Yeah, dude, I wish that I was as spry as I was when I was 16 mentally. I'm pretty witty right now, but like back then, I was a lot funnier. I think I was a lot, you know what? That's like a drunk dude saying that he's a great dancer. You know what I mean? I was funnier when I was 16. No, I couldn't stop laughing at my own jokes enough to like be able to speak to get them out. I guess that maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Because I used to do that a lot. I'd be like, listen to this joke, and I couldn't even get it out before I would just crack up laughing. I cracked myself up though. Wilbur, earlier I was talking about this book that I got. Missouri's Haunted Route 66. I read a few stories out of this. It was talking about the Galois, Landers Theater, different things like that, Landmark Building. I think the Landmark Building was in there. But the Outland. The Outland is definitely haunted. Do you have any weird haunted Outland stories? Because I definitely do. Me and Pogue heard a lot of weird stuff in the evenings. But I really need to start getting other people's accounts. I think that'd be really cool to see exactly how many other people were having, similar experiences and stuff like that. I had my daughter at 18, then turned 19 only 6 days later. I remember being upset. I didn't make it to age 19. That's silly now to think about it. Jennifer, that's very similar. That is crazy. But you guys were probably pretty close. Are you and your daughter really close? Because me and my mom were always really close. Because, we had our birthdays really close together, and she always made sure that I didn't have, like, Christmas wrapping paper on my birthday presents. You know what I mean? That kind of a thing. Yeah. And, Christmas paper. Never allowed Christmas paper on my birthday presents. I appreciate that. She also... she made sure to separate the things. But, I was talking to one of my friends earlier today, and this is just one example, and I'm not going to say their name because it doesn't matter, but I was talking to one of my friends, and I was like, hey, you want to come out, hang out on my birthday? My birthday's Saturday. And they were like, well, that's the day that my family is doing their Christmas, and because it's Saturday, you know what I mean? Like, of course, like, it's the weekend before Christmas, it's the big day, like, that's great, and everybody gets, like, Sunday is Christmas Eve, that's kind of pretty cool, but it sucks. It sucks because I feel lonely already. And so it's like the most loneliest day of the year. It's the day that it should be like I should be surrounded by people who care about me, and I'm not. Yeah. On a lighter note, what is the 3 worst things about being an egg? It takes 10 minutes to get hard. You have to come in a pack with 11 others, and the only one to sit on your face is your mom. Oh, an egg. Okay. I was like, what in the world? Dude, eggs are good. I eat eggs every morning. Wilbur, that's ridiculous. Oh, man. What do I got? I was going to talk about some of the the world's creepiest places. Happy birthday, all you. And Charlie, I believe you said your birthday was soon, too. Yeah, maybe we could have just maybe I'll have birthday streams every month for everybody who doesn't have anything to do on their birthday. We can all help celebrate. Maybe, I wouldn't mind doing that. I think that'd be really great. Just having one day every month. It's just like everybody's community birthday. I used to have, my friend Carl, I used to do booking at a couple venues, and my friend Carl used to do that every month. He'd have a big birthday party for everybody, and it did really well actually. A lot of people came to that. It was a lot of fun. Wilbur, do you remember that when Carl would do that? Carl Hicks, C Hicks. See y'all around. Happy early birthday. Not alone. I love you, dude. I know someone whose birthday is Christmas Day, and he celebrates a fake birthday on the 25th of July. I've celebrated my half birthday before, and that was fun. I liked doing that. It was June 23rd, I think. June 23rd, something like that. Do you have a P.O. box? Aw, man. I don't have a P.O. box, but I need to get one. I'll get one. I will. I haven't, to be honest, and this is just, I'm not ashamed. For the past 2 years, I have been kind of floating around. Not really anchored to a specific place. I've been homeless is a word. Transient is another word. Not all the way here is a way to put it. I've just kind of been, I was in a relationship during the sickness that went on in 2020 that was really toxic too. So by the time I got out of that whole scenario, I've been kind of not in a good place. And I was already not in a good place before. But I think I'm getting better, honestly. I think everything's kind of working out. And you guys are here, and that's honestly really cool. This is the most people I've hung out with in a while. That besides like working and things like that, like going to work. I don't have a P.O. box though. I need to write down, get a P.O. box. Get a P.O. box. I need to get a car too. I want a Geo Metro because they get almost 50 miles a gallon. But okay, my grandpa has one. I drove it for a little bit, and I would go, and he lives out at the lake, at Stockton Lake. So I would drive from the lake into Springfield, which is like 45 minutes, do all my chores, errands that I needed to run. Then I would go all the way back out there, and right before I got home, I would hit Walnut Grove to hit the gas station. And it would cost $8 to fill it back up to full. $8 to fill up the Geo Metro. Those cars are awesome. And I want to turn one into the Mirthmobile. That looks like the one from Garth, Garth's car from Wayne's World. I think that would be really cool. And these days, like, you could wrap one, or, I mean, honestly, with a Geo Metro, they're so inexpensive. $3,000 for a car. I could just use a stencil, and just spray paint. I don't care. That's awesome. I had to move back in with family almost a year ago. The upside is having access to a car now. Yeah, I actually live with one of my really good friends from like way back in the day, the E-Man. He used to be on the radio here in town. He's kind of like my hero whenever I was a younger guy. And like I was talking about, music was my whole thing. And he used to do this thing called Homegrown, which was like showcasing local bands and stuff like that. And so I always thought that was like awesome. He kind of like started me in that whole direction of my life, to be honest. But super eccentric guy. Used to dress up like the Grinch and like the Beast, and he made these costumes like by hand. And he's got one that's Deadpool. He's got like Hellboy, all this stuff. Like one of the coolest dudes. He comes up with like his own characters too. Like he had this one called Snake Boot Vigilante that was like a time traveler who was like mutated and stuff. And he used to go, his wife Carla is the lead singer of one of my favorite local metal bands, Curmudgeon. And she's badass, like this tall, like super long hair, blonde, like Nordic looking woman, and she just like has like the most like awesome evil guttural screams and stuff, and she's just freaking sweet. So they're like two of the coolest people in the world, two of the sweetest people in the world, and they were like, hey man, this is like 8 months ago. They were like, hey, we got an extra room, come here if you're homeless. Don't be homeless. So I've been here for a while, and they've been very frickin' hospitable. And I'm getting better at this, okay? This is great. And I don't know. It's been great. Some of my favorite people in the whole world. Is definitely a good environment for me to like get my stuff straight. And I actually do feel like I've got a lot more stability now. Yeah. And I'm feeling a lot better about it all. And Wilbur knows, E-Man. That's how you feel when I stream. My family lives together too. I got my hubby and 4 kids with my parents in a small house, but we're lucky, blessed the most. I think one of my favorite stuff right now is uh, we've got 6 cats. 6 cats are pretty cool. Um, there's Peanut, which is my favorite. She doesn't have a tail. She's a calico without a tail. There's Hucky, which is another calico. There is Mommy, which is Ginger. She does not have a tail either, but she's the mother of a few of the other ones. There's Chiva, and then there's, I think Chiva's Mommy's sister. Then there's Bun Bun, and sometimes he's Bun Love, but sometimes he's Spicy Bun because he likes to get a little spicy. And who am I missing here? Oh, there's Tiger Boy. Cats are the best. So there's the Calico Crew, which there's 3 of the Calico Crew, and then there's the Orange Team Go, which is the orange cats. So we got 2 opposing crews, and it's pretty cool. I love them. Aww. Well, to be honest, I used to be allergic to cats. And if I really get down there and put my face on them, it feels like I've got cat hair in every orifice. But so I'm probably not all the way over it, but cats are good. And whenever I was, here's a funny story. My parents were always against cats, like massively against cats. But we lived in like a kind of a poor neighborhood. And so literally my neighborhood, right, was called the West Side. Like that area of town's called the West Side. And I was right in the heart of the West Side. And so with a lot of stray cats, we had this guy next door to us named Ray, and he drove the truck that hauled like caskets in it, or the what are those things that they put the caskets in? They're like the tomb sort of things that the caskets go in. The vault. Yeah, he would drive vaults to different places. So he was like a funeral worker guy, and then but he had so many cats at his house, like I would say hundreds of cats. And it was right next door to us. And my dad was one of those guys who he liked to buy like shrubs and stuff for the yard. So the cats would come over and they would like poop in the shrubs and then kill the plants. And so my dad got real mad. And one day there was kittens that were born on the roof of our house. Well, the cats used to come in through the crawl space underneath the house, and they would come and they would poop in our bed, in my bed. The cats would get up there, they'd poop in the bed, they'd pee in the bed. And it was a horrible thing. So I wasn't really allowed to like cats. But one day, there was a cat in the yard, and I was like, "Oh, a kitty!" And I had just gotten out of the shower, or the bath. We didn't have a shower. I got out of the bathtub, got my Sunday clothes on. We were getting ready to go somewhere. And I remember I was wearing Oshkosh Bagosh, or whatever, Oshkosh overall things. I was probably like 7. And so I pick this cat up, and I'm like, "Hey, kitty!" And I'm looking at it, and I look over at my mom. I'm like, "Hey, Mom, look at this cat!" And she's like, "Oh my God!" All down the front of me was like liquid cat excrement. And then the smell hit me, and like I tossed the cat, and I started crying because I had just gotten out of the shower. Well, of course, my mom is not going to have a lot of sympathy for me because all she sees is, "Oh, now I've got to clean this up." So I go in there, I clean it all up, and I was given a very large conversation about never touching a cat again. And I didn't for years and years. I hated cats because of that. I thought that that's what cats did whenever you pick them up. Yeah. So I got cats later on, and I found a beautiful little kitty. He was on the side of the road. Actually, it was in the middle of the road in Cincinnati on one of these farm roads, and he was just barely a kitten. He was a black and white cat, a little Tux cat, and we pick him up. And he starts I thought he was hissing, but he was sneezing. He had some kind of respiratory infection. Well, he was so small that I went and I had to swaddle him in a towel and force feed him milk, like formula. But he ended up being like my favorite little dude, and he loved me, and I loved him, and his name was Gizmo. I called him Gizmo, Jimbo, Guillermo, all those names. And he was a good cat. I had to leave him in Cincinnati, but I miss him a lot. I was scared of dogs for the longest time because of a neighbor's dog. Really? Did you get like attacked by one or something, or what happened? Man, I remember one time whenever I was a kid, I went to middle school so my third cousin Daryl has a cousin named Justin. And Justin was on the news one time because he told his pit bull to attack a girl, and it did. That's crazy. That's the kind of town I come from. Cats give away secrets. My ex-mother-in-law found out I was pregnant because her cat loves pregnant women, and my sister-in-law was pregnant, but the cat didn't want her anymore. She wanted me. Oh, dude. So the cat was ratting out on you. It was just like, oh, hi. We have a cat that loves feet. So I don't know about if it loves pregnant women, but it has another sort of a thing, a feet thing. He was an a-hole, used to set the dog out to chase me. At the time, the dog was the same size as me. Dude, that's not cool. That'll definitely make somebody scared of dogs. I mean, you know what? Here's the thing. It doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be like the Sandlot to be terrifying. I used to be scared of my mom's cousin's collie, and this dog was maybe this tall and, this long, small little collie. And it used to chase. And I think it was like playing or something, but it would nip at your heels, and I thought he was going to eat me alive. So I would take off across the field, and the dog's way faster than me, so I'd just be screaming the whole way. I'm like, get him off! Did not work. She would not She wouldn't stop jumping on my lap and my belly and purring. Aww. So they were able to tell that you had that you were pregnant because of that. I like that. I mean, like, that cat is giving away secrets, but at least it's intuitive. She asked me, is there something you want to tell us? I feel bad for the girl that got attacked. Yeah, I do too. Her name was Brittany Husky. She was on the news. She said that she wanted to be a model and everything. I feel bad for her too. She used to make fun of me in school because I couldn't afford Jinko pants. So I don't have that much sympathy. I mean, the situation I have sympathy for, right? But, like, she was a butthole to me. She really was. I still get kind of twitchy even with little dogs if they're jumping up at me. Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I don't think I'm scared of dogs so much as like, big dogs freak me out. Like, because anything that can overpower me is, like, pretty scary. You know what I mean? Like a big dog with these big giant jaws and stuff. My cousin Amy used to be married to this guy, and they had a bull mastiff. And he bent over in the yard one day to, like, pick something up out of the yard, and that mastiff got on him and would not let him up. Like, those dogs are very heavy, and that man was not. And could you imagine? Or the people you don't have to defend why you think someone was a jerk to you, darling. Yeah. Yeah, it's okay. It's fine. And look, I feel bad about her. I don't want anybody to get attacked by anything, and I don't think it's good. But, man, I don't think that, like, okay, so I was a fat kid, all right? And I've always had boobs. I got man boobs, okay? Always been kind of, like, androgynous looking, to be honest. I got wide lady hips. I've got round breasts. Like, I'm weird looking by anyone's standards. And kids pointed it out. You know what I mean? And then, like, and she used to make fun of me because, like, whenever I would talk to people, sometimes I would just, like, pay attention to what they were eating because, I was a poor kid. And, like, I didn't think about it, but she pointed it out and it made me feel really embarrassed. Dude, kids are cruel. It's weird. Yeah, okay. But, yeah, kids are really cruel. It's kind of weird. But I think I'm about to wrap it up here. I saw that Tommy went live a few minutes ago, so I wanted to go over there and catch that. If you would join me over at the Lifeboat channel, that would be awesome. Maybe we could all go over there and be like, hey, we're there from Chili Mancer stream. That would be pretty cool. Yeah, kids are awful, dude. But you know what? I'm stronger than I was back then. And if I wouldn't have gone through those experiences, I wouldn't have the perspective that I do now. So, I can't say that it was worth it. But I am proud of the person that I am compared to the person that I could have been if I didn't. That's good. But yeah, I'm going to go on the Lifeboat. I will see you guys later. Thank you for joining in. And if you haven't already, go into the comment section or find the Discord server in the thing. I'll see you guys over on the Lifeboat. I love you. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'll be back tomorrow. And tomorrow's my mom's birthday. That'll be fun. I'll see you guys.